What's up, folks? How we doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am coming to you live from my parents' basement. That's right. That is right. We are not in the studio. We are in the the old folks' basement, basically embracing the stereotype. Hope everything looks good. It's uh, it's new here. I haven't done a live stream on here in quite some time. But we got a new backdrop. Downtown Rams light was blocking off it. So if you guys have seen me before and wondering why that's not the case, that would be the reason. Um, but appreciate it. This is my home office. So you know, uh, let me know how the quality is. We're trying some things in this video I haven't tried before. Mainly because I got my eGPU next to me. I have my whole office set up. Um, but yeah, got the brick background. We're cooking with gas now, right? I missed you guys for real. Yesterday I really wanted to stream and just felt like it wouldn't be the best quality. I won't do it if it's not my best. So I decided not to. I didn't really have everything set up. I didn't feel like I could put on a great show yesterday. So I waited, and today here we are. Yeah, bum status, right? All right. Well, let's see here. Appreciate you, Vixper. What's up, Eric? Potato Coma, how we doing? Marco, how we doing? Galaxy, we are here. I'm here as well, King Easy. You got your water today? Oh, so I got this from Alexis as a present. It's a Hydromate. I think it was either a birthday or a Christmas present, but yeah, I got my water. We're good. So if you're wondering why I take giant, a giant thing, that's why. Of course, I don't have any soda in this house, so that means no Sprite or Canada Dry. Let's see. I do not have Pedialyte, Don. Cam Akers and Henderson are so underrated. I love it. This whole team is underrated. Jake's got the Crown Royal Maple under the desk. Maybe I do. Underrated and still hated. LOL. Let's go Rams. Hey, what's up, Art? Opacity consultant. How we doing? 49ers are going to be the best at being the worst. Jody, I feel like Jake's strength truly on the norm. Cam will have a breakout year, especially if Stafford destroys it. Stafford will keep the secondary honest by preventing any 8 men in the box, which will open up more holes for Cam to explode through. Agree. That is a great point, Art. That is one of the biggest points. How we doing, Don? L Pineapples. Mark, what's up? How we doing, everyone? Yeah, I'm really excited. I want the season to start already. I can't stress it enough. I think the Rams have a really, really nice setup. And if you're wondering why, I chose to go with Cam Akers in this video, it's very simple. Cam Akers was just on PFT, Pro Football Talk, and was discussing Jared Goff and the Stafford trade. So I felt like he was kind of on my mind, and that's the route I decided to go with. But yeah, this is somebody that I really believe is going to be like a Dalvin Cook in this league. And before we get into Cam Akers, it's important that I'm upfront with you about how I felt with him throughout the whole process, which includes from the beginning when I started watching film of him to the end of the process after he was drafted. So essentially, this is a guy that I didn't really like, to be honest with you. I didn't hate him, but I didn't like him going as high as he did. So let's just say that right off the cuff, I didn't love the pick initially. And for those of you that heard or watched live, the Downtown Rams live draft stream that I did with Alexis Kraft, Blaine Grisack, Devin Jackson, Mike Hernishin, so many amazing people, Cole Thompson, AJ Schulte, Nick Farabaugh. I did it with a lot of people. And if I missed anyone, Ben Larson. I think I got everyone. If you missed that, then you missed my reaction to when he was drafted. Alexis and I didn't really like the pick. Here's the thing. I have a 3 tape rule for every single prospect before I can assign a grade, before I can assign a place on my big board. It's important for you guys to realize that I cannot do that unless I've seen 3 games on film of said player. So I watched 3 games of Cam Akers, and ultimately I wasn't thoroughly impressed, but context was needed. FSU's offensive line wasn't very good at all. It was the end of the Jimbo Fisher era. They weren't getting talent anyway. The recruiting was out the window. They were going through a rough patch. What he was able to do was really impressive. So how did I miss this? How did I make a mistake? Well, I've made a lot of mistakes. How did I make this mistake? Well, it's very simple. So with this, I watched 3 games. Those 3 games that I watched were probably his worst 3 games. What are the odds? So I thought to myself, Akers is probably a 3rd or 4th round running back. And I was really high on guys like Jonathan Taylor. I wasn't as high on Dobbins, but I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I was super, super, super high on Antonio Gibson. I had him higher than the consensus. So why did I miss on this? How did I miss on this? And I'm going to tell you a story about how I changed my grade after the fact. Not because he's a Ram, but because I had to go back and watch the film. So he gets drafted by the Rams. I'm furious. And someday I'm going to I have no care. You guys know I'm up front with you, how I feel. The mistakes that I've made in my evaluations. I'm up front. I'll throw the video on one of these live streams, my reaction to Cam Akers. I probably should have done it this time. Now, the reason I had this reaction is because I saw 3 games. I unfairly characterized him as a 3rd round, 4th round guy. And at the end of the day, I just don't feel like I gave him enough credit. So what ends up happening is that he gets drafted. I flip out on live stream. Very unprofessionally, I might add. I flip out on live stream, more fan than analyst. So I made a mistake in that regard. Alexis didn't like the pick. I hated the pick. I think I blew a gasket. Mainly because Darrell Henderson was my number 1 running back in his respective draft class. I felt like they didn't need to draft a running back. But after the draft ended for day 2, I went back and I watched the film. And you can ask Alexis, you can ask anybody that worked with me the next day. I was exhausted because I watched film until about 3 a.m., 12 games, 13 games, lost track, but I kept watching and watching and watching just to see, why did the Rams pick this guy? Why? Because I saw 3 bad games and had no idea what I was about to watch. And the more I watched, I saw hybrids of Marshall Faulk. I saw hybrids of Dalvin Cook. I saw some Todd Gurley in his game. I saw all sorts of running backs come to mind. And I was like, I get it now. I truly do. He's got great balance. He uses his pad level as well as any running back in the league. He's obviously got good enough speed around the 4.48 to 4.5 category. He's not a burner, so he's not going to be a guy. He can get chased down from behind. That is something. But he just runs with such great pad level, balance. And then the thing that I love most is when you watch him, you know he's running behind a really piss-poor offensive line. And when he's getting hit from behind the line of scrimmage, he's just eating those hits. He's, absorbing the contact and dishing it right back out and, getting right back to the line of scrimmage or even more, just getting more yards. So I was really impressed with that, portion of his game. And then I saw they started to use him as a pass catcher out of the backfield. And I saw the upside start to really, boil down to it. And I was like, well, you know what? This guy with Darrell Henderson could be a real threat. So, I mean, look, I was not the biggest fan, but I changed my evaluation because had more knowledge. And by the way, let's normalize that. Let's normalize the idea of people changing their opinion based on learning more about the situation, changing their opinion when they generate more facts, they learn more knowledge. Let's normalize that instead of kicking people down. So, and that's big in the draft process. So I admitted that I was 100% wrong initially, and Jonathan Taylor ended up grading out as my number one running back, but my number two running back after further evaluation was Cam Akers because I went back to the drawing board and I realized, wow, okay, there's a reason why they got this guy. So that's my story on, why I just to start off, why I decided to, not just make this video. Cause I mean, you guys know by now, I do a topic to get the live stream kicking, get everything going, and then we build off it. Right. So that's that in a nutshell. Um, but I just wanted to let you guys know that because I, at first, was not huge into Acres, and I had to go back and really evaluate. And it's also the 3 tape rule, the 3 game rule that I have, I think is a good rule, but I need to do a better job of finding games that maybe these guys excel in, maybe these guys don't excel in, and then maybe a game that's in the middle. Just picking 3 random games really almost hurt my entire evaluation of Cam Akers. Yeah, their offensive line was horrible. So all right. So let's see here. So it looks like the stream is pretty healthy, which is cool. Because I was a little worried. I'm running on higher, whatever you want to call it. It's a better rating or whatever. It's because I have my eGPU, so I wanted to make sure that this didn't just start, flipping out. But you wanted Zach Moss, Samuel? Yeah, I know there were a lot of Rams fans that wanted Zach Moss a lot. So, I mean, I can't blame you there. I wasn't super high on Zach Moss. I just felt like Jonathan Taylor was like can't miss. But, I to me, I felt like Cam Akers after further evaluation, I see this guy potentially being a superstar. So that brings me to my next point of the video. Is that, I mean, let's be real here. Cam Akers has really impressed not only everybody in the building, but the fans. Cam Akers is somebody that has made significant strides, and albeit it wasn't the best rookie year ever for a running back out of Cam Akers, he had some injuries, including a freak injury where he had torn rib cartilage because he was carrying a football near the goal line and it punctured his chest. I mean, talk about complete freak injury. He has the high ankle sprain, and then he's able to battle back. He battled back and was huge for them in the playoffs. So, I see somebody that has an opportunity to be a superstar in this league, and he's very similar to Dalvin Cook, in my opinion. Now, what does that mean for the Rams? What does it mean by having a superstar? Well, you look at Todd Gurley and what he meant to, those original teams in 2017 and 18. And you can see what the load was, how much load was taken off the quarterback, what was taken off everybody. Because Todd Gurley, you could just dump it off to him, and you're like, okay, this guy, when he gets to the first level, if he shoots past the first level and the second level, he's about as big as anybody that's going to try and tackle him, and that's going to be really hard to tackle. So that created, these explosive plays that ultimately bailed teams out. So if you were a struggling Rams team, maybe you couldn't get thing going all game long, Jared Goff could just dump it off to Gurley and he could do the rest. So Matthew Stafford, going back to him, he's had 11, as I've said this on the show before, he's had 1,100 yard rushers out of the 160 plus games that he's played in. Okay. So that's huge. That is huge because that just does not happen. The Rams had about 500 yard rushers last season. I think Cam Akers is going to be pushing around 7 or 8 or maybe even 9, maybe 10, who knows. But this is somebody I think is eventually going to break out and, finally hit that next level. And look, it's not finally because he is a rookie. But what I will say is that when you look at everything Cam Akers can do, including out in the passing, in the passing game, I think that's a big important thing to keep in mind. That's not an easy thing, and not everybody brings that to the table. It's funny when it's like, well, he can catch passes out of the backfield. Yeah, but he's done it once, like 10 times or whatever. So I think it's very important to realize that Cam Akers brings a lot to the table. He's going to help Matt Stafford tremendously. But one thing that's really important, and that Art brought up earlier, Matthew Stafford being under center means no more loaded boxes. So what you saw with Cam Akers against loaded boxes, he's going to have a lot easier time maneuvering around, that front seven, because ultimately you have to accommodate for what you're going to get against Matthew Stafford. He's a threat all over the field, and now it opens up everything. It opens up the run game. It opens up the play action passing attack. It opens up the deep part of the field. Everything is opened up because the Rams can hit you in every way. It's one of the reasons why I think Matthew Stafford's going to win MVP, and I think the Rams are going to be the number one offense next year. I don't care how good the Chiefs are. I really don't. No one has the offense that the Rams have on paper right now. They just have to match that. But I think it's very important to realize that this Matthew Stafford deal helps Cam Akers as much as anybody. And Cam Akers helps Matthew Stafford immensely. So then you take into account, well, okay, so this is a franchise that's had guys like Eric Dickerson, Marshall Faulk, Todd Gurley, Lawrence McCutcheon. They've had all sorts of running backs. Can Cam Akers be the best of them? That I don't know. But he doesn't need to be. What he needs to do is he needs to be what they expected him to be, what they drafted him to be, and that is a 1,000-yard rusher and a guy that can win out of the backfield as a pass catcher or a runner, and he needs to develop in the pass protection game, because if he develops in pass pro, he's going to be around for a long time. So that's important to keep in mind. And Steven Jackson. I don't know how I forgot Steven Jackson. That's the guy I saw the most, and I forgot about him. My God. I hate it too. I always advocate that he's so underrated, and here I am underrating him. So what's going on, folks? How we doing? How is everybody? You guys missed me yesterday? I missed you. Just wanted to give a shout out to Don C. and Ram Fan Ashton. They both have signed up for the membership. If you'd like to, you see the join button. You can sign up. It's $4.99 a month. Through basically, you just want to support me. It adds badges. I'm considering adding more to it. Maybe a members only. I won't do members only like content as far as like videos, but maybe a members only live stream where I just answer your questions all the time. That's the entire live stream. We'll do something like that, But yeah, I do want to get that membership going because it sounds like, quite a few people are interested the last time I mentioned it. Thought I'd throw it out there. Main Muso 44. I started about, let's see here. What are the numbers here? 21 minutes ago, give or take. Double smash burger for dinner. That sounds good. I had chili. All right, you guys ready? Here's Jake on record drinking. Brought the jug. We're good. Cam Akers could get faster. I'm not going to say he can't. I'm excited to see this kid grow, to be honest with you. I'm not using a green screen. No, I'm not. What's up, Rams House? I forgot to say that. I appreciate that, Marco. Shout out to Alexis for getting me that Hydromate. It's a dream. I was just doing a workout like I want to say 2 hours ago. Um my guy Alec, he's my personal trainer, also a Rams fan, was killing me with this workout, so I had plenty of this. Plenty. It's just water, but, Hydromate if you want to, sponsor me. There you go. Where'd I get the hat? I got it from Fanatics, which, I mean, I don't really want to advocate for them because I think they did a horrible job with everything, but, Thanks, Rams House. Appreciate it. 4 a.m.? Oh my God. Luca, appreciate that. Appreciate you. Thanks for checking us out. Checking me out. I'm used to saying us. I feel like that comes off very egotistical, and it's like, yeah, we're doing fine over here. Like, it's just me. Like, who's we? I just watched the YouTube film study of Matthew Stafford. I agree. Compare the Rams getting him to the Chiefs having Mahomes. I mean, look, I'm not saying Matthew Stafford is going to be the greatest quarterback ever, but I am saying that Matthew Stafford was already a very, very talented quarterback on a team that really, what was it? They gave up the most points the last 2 years in the league. So it's like, let's talk about that for a second. Quarterback wins with a Z. Jared Goff has 44 wins. How could you let him go? Look, shout out to Jared. I thought he had a nice, heartfelt message for the Rams community. Also, shout out to him. Thought he had a great interview with Sam Farmer. Really cleared the air, in my opinion. Somebody that left, I think, better than was originally portrayed by Mike Silver. But at the end of the day, I will say this straight up. Jared Goff and his 44 wins or whatever he won, quarterback wins don't matter. Okay? When you have Sean McVay, you're supposed to win those games. So Stafford is held accountable. Well, he didn't win. He didn't win in Detroit. Okay. I mean, I'd roll the clip. I'd totally roll the clip right now of him throwing a dart, game-winning touchdown to DeAndre Swift and having him drop it and ultimately costing them the game. If I knew that I wasn't going to get copyright, that's okay. We're good. I don't know. It does that with Streamlabs, and it's not cool. That's so annoying. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, I don't know what it is, folks. Like, this is a different microphone, and Streamlabs, for whatever reason, will cut out my mic every now and then. I had the same issue with OBS and way more frequently, but you can become a member by hitting join. So you'll see like the thumbs up and the thumbs down. Below that you should see join, if I'm not mistaken. Big text muting me. Yeah. What's up? How we doing? But yeah, going back to what we were talking about quarterback wins. Matthew Stafford has not had, like, I've seen like big media personnel coming out and saying, "Oh, well, Matthew Stafford isn't winning games," and I would argue that having Marvin Jones and having Kenny Golladay and Danny Amendola and Marvin Hall and Quintez Cephas and T.J. Hawkinson is just as good as having what the Rams have. I don't think it's that big of an upgrade. You would be wrong every time. Like, I don't understand this whole quarterback wins thing. I really don't get it. To me, I don't get it. Can you make a video on what he brings to the table for the Rams? Yeah, I'm actually working on that. So right now I'm putting together all sorts of clips. We'll see. We'll see if it even gets released, because I've made videos for you guys before that you've never seen before because it got blocked on YouTube. But I mean, we'll see. But I'm working on that. Yeah, 18-13 the last 2 seasons isn't great. I mean, did you guys see the Charles Robinson report on Jared Goff? Because that Charles Robinson thing where he sat down with another brother from another, with Michael Smith and the other guy, forgot his name. They're on Peacock. Charles Robinson said straight up that, Sean McVay, I mean, he tried. He tried to get Goff there, and he was like, "I'm here, and this kid's not going to join me." And it's like, they had to be able to move on. And ultimately, we know how it all went down. McVay eventually approached Kroenke and said, like, he wanted his guy and to sign off on going out and getting Stafford, and they did. But I mean, this quarterback wins thing, like, McVay is literally telling everybody that this was not Goff. Goff did as much as he could in 2017-18, and he was really good, and he was on the cusp of being great. So whatever happened, whether he got complacent and didn't work, as hard as he was doing before, or he was broken in the Super Bowl, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. But that's what ultimately led to them getting Stafford. But again, just the wins thing. That, like, my point in even bringing that up is that the quarterback wins thing is irrelevant because you have a coach that's literally moving on for the quarterback because he didn't believe that he could win him a Super Bowl. So doesn't that throw the wins thing out the window? Yeah. I know it's a bummer, Main Muso, because I put out 3 videos that have been not copyright claimed. They didn't just take my revenue, they blocked them straight up. So, you know, I'll see what I can put out for you guys. I had a whole video on Jamie Newman that was done and it got blocked straight up. So that's why that hasn't come out. That's why it's just been the interviews and the live streams. And I spend a lot of time in the live streams because I love interacting with you guys, but it does take a lot of time away from making like the standalone videos. So if you're wondering why there's not a lot of videos, it's because I do a lot of live streams. And then of course I have to watch film, so I have to catch up on everything. So, let's see. Jake, do you see what Cup said about Goff on social media? May make my heart warm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's sad. It's an end of an era, and Jared Goff is the best quarterback the Rams have had in quite some time, but the ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl. And as much as I like Goff and I want him to do well with the Lions, I'll root for him. I just think, to me, this team should have had at least two Super Bowls by now. Maybe 3, but at least 2. And to not make the playoffs was another thing. So, to me, I think that falls on Jared. I think, Sean McVay wasn't great, but I mean, I just think it falls on Jared. I think he's been way too reliant on Sean McVay, and that's been the case. Also, Sosa's not on the line, and I don't know why that is there. I actually got rid of that. We don't have anything on the ticker, so it's just being all weird, and I just realized it. Let me see if I can delete it now. That would probably be better. Okay, there we go. Nothing. Yeah, I don't know why that was coming up. How do you watch film? Do you just look it up on Google, or I have my ways of getting all 22 of college through a scout. And I'd share if I could, but I truly can't. and then I have another um way of getting all 22. But as far as like NFL all 22, you can just get Game Pass for $100 and you can have access to everything I'm seeing with NFL. Stafford can run. He's not a sprinter, but he can run. Yeah, you don't want Stafford to run because he has an arm that would rival Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. It's right up there among the elite. What do you mean, Josh? The team has zero depth behind the starters. I'm just curious. What's up, Ted? How we doing? I don't necessarily think Cup will be gone, but I guess it depends. He definitely has pocket presence. Yeah, great question, Paul. I mean, I'm inclined to believe that Watson ends up in Carolina just with how quick they were to go after Matthew Stafford. I think says a lot. Um, I think Carolina is ready to move on from Bridgewater, and I think that they know with Matt Rule is that they're ready to compete now. They were in all those games at the end, and you could argue Bridgewater was part of it. Uh, you could argue the defense, whatever you want to do. Like, bottom line is, it came down to the wire in most of those games they lost. They were actually my sleeper pick, and I don't think I was that far off. I think I was about a year off from them. Also, had what's his face not gotten hurt, Christian McCaffrey, things are probably a lot different. Oh, Luck is a way better prospect than Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. Luck was about as close to perfect as it gets for a quarterback. I mean, there's the things that he does, and I think that with Trevor Lawrence, I'm not even 100% convinced he's the best quarterback in this draft. I know there's a few friends of mine that would say the same thing, including one I believe is watching right now, um, who I think has Wilson. But I guess my point is that Trevor Lawrence at times really just there was a lot of screens, a lot of those throws. And then there's a lot of these like he didn't dominate against like Citadel or anything. I don't know. He just there are games he doesn't dominate in where it's like if you're a perfect can't miss prospect, I expect you to dominate, especially against lesser talent. And I just didn't see that out of Lawrence. So I don't know where he's gonna, fall, but the Luck stuff I heard was entirely a made up rumor. Sorry to burst the bubble there. I think the best quarterback in the draft. I mean, right now, I would probably say Trey Lance. That's who my favorite quarterback in the draft is. I think he's going to be QB1 for me. I also really like Zach Wilson. It's a battle between QB2 for me right now with Lawrence and Wilson. Cousins might go to the 49ers, but I don't know. I don't think it would be that big of a deal, to be honest with you. Um, I mean, JJ could still come back, definitely. What year was tough? Oh, 2019? I thought they had decent depth. I thought they definitely should have made the playoffs. Where was So yeah, going back to Andrew Luck, you just had somebody that was so intelligent coming out of Stanford, somebody that had great pocket presence, was amazing at running the football. He could use his legs very well. He just, to me, seemed like an extension of the coaching staff and was very similar to Peyton Manning. So, I mean, as far as the best quarterback prospect I've ever seen, it's Luck. Now, the older crowd, and not to call you guys old, but people that are older than me would probably say Elway. And I don't think you would necessarily be wrong. I think Elway was one of the best quarterback prospects as well. But Luck just had it all, man, and I just don't feel like Lawrence has it all. He can get there, but I do think he's overrated, and I think we've fallen in love, or not we. because anybody that agrees with me is not we. But I feel like in general, we've fallen in love with the idea of a perfect prospect. We've fallen in love with the idea that there's finally this generational guy after Luck. We've fallen in love with the idea of what Trevor Lawrence was 2 years ago, that we're neglecting what happened. I think it's genuinely concerning that he didn't get it done in his last year. They lost in embarrassing fashion to Ohio State to a quarterback that'll get drafted below him. I'm not 100% convinced that he's going to succeed with that coaching staff. Talk about prehistoric. So his coaching staff is going to be Darrell Bevell, and I think they're getting Schottenheimer to be the quarterback coach or the passing game coordinator or what have you. I mean, good luck. Good luck. My lord. And also, I don't think Urban Meyer's going to do well in the NFL. I've said it over and over again. I'll say it again. I don't think Urban Meyer's going to be that great in the NFL. I think people clown on the Jets, but if he went to the Jets, I think he would have been very, very good. And I think with the Jaguars, he could be good, but I don't think he's going to be special. Hey, there we go. Thanks for joining, AZZA. Looks like you figured it out. Jake, what do you think happens to Darnold with the Jets? That's an interesting one, Paul, because a lot of things could happen out of that. I mean, first off, I think that Robert Saleh's fine with Sam Darnold being the guy, but I think that they're getting a lot of interest where maybe they get a deal that they weren't expecting and it changes the game. I would not be surprised if that's the case, to be quite honest with you. So I think that that's definitely something that's up there. It's definitely something to keep in mind, and ultimately, you're getting a guy in Sam Darnold, if you get him, that is mobile, that is young, that's played in big games at USC, that is battle tested because he hasn't had the best pressure, or he hasn't had the best protection, and really hasn't had a ton of weapons, so he's not like overly reliant on one weapon. So I don't know. I feel like he could make it work. The 49ers would be an interesting fit for him. I think the 49ers would probably be his best fit. No one's talking about it, but you put him with Kyle Shanahan, what he can do off script and getting in the hands of guys that are, run after the catch type of guys like Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. And, I think you can make something happen there. George Kittle as well. What do we always say about young quarterbacks? Their security blanket's their tight end. They overly rely on their tight end when they get into a bind. Well, overly relying on a guy like George Kittle is not a bad thing, So I'm inclined to believe that's kind of where he should go. I wouldn't like to see him in the NFC West because I really do like Sam Darnold. I hate to have to root against him, but I think that's probably his best fit. Yeah, Paul. With Josh Rosen, I think it's just the fact is, I think with Josh Rosen, simply put, it's a dying quarterback ecosystem in the NFL, young quarterback ecosystem. I've said it over and over and over again. It's why Dwayne Haskins got 1 year to show who he was. Appreciate AZZA. The link. Oh, maybe I should post that if you guys are interested in joining. I think the young quarterback ecosystem in the NFL is dying. It used to be a league where Sam Bradfords of the world could get 4 to 5 years to develop. Now it's not the case. You either show that you can do something or you're gone. And so you saw that with Dwayne Haskins. Barely played the first year of his career. Second year, he's with a brand new head coach. He's with a brand new OC, quarterback coach. Everything's changed except for his weapons. And so that's a perfect example. Go back to Josh Rosen. Guys drafted. It didn't even seem like the Cardinals wanted him to begin with. He just kind of falls in their lap and we'll take him. And then he goes there and they have Steve Wilks, who's not an offensive-minded coach. They fire Steve Wilks. They get a whole new staff. You're thinking, wow, Cliff Kingsbury with Josh Rosen, that could be something. And then they go out and draft Kyler Murray. They trade Josh Rosen to Miami. You're thinking, okay, maybe he'll get a shot. Nope, he doesn't get the shot. And then he finally ends up coming in, and then, he throws 8 touchdowns. According to, I think it was PFF, he had 8 touchdowns that were dropped. This is somebody that I think can play in this league, and teams are missing out. Watch out. He might replace Tom Brady in Tampa when it's all said and done and be a pretty good quarterback. I like Josh Rosen a lot. I just think the young quarterback ecosystem in the NFL is dead. And you're seeing it. I mean, like, these guys just don't get opportunities anymore. They don't have time to develop. You either do what Justin Herbert's doing or you're gone. Look at Drew Lock. I mean, Drew Lock is already on the cutting, the chopping block. I mean, come on now. He's not really, but they've talked about trading him. He absolutely did. Rosen absolutely caught a raw deal shot by Nolan. Totally agree with you. Kadarius Toney or John Ross. I mean, I'd take Kadarius Toney, but he won't be there for the Rams. I'm not the biggest Garoppolo fan. I liked him a lot more in college, but I don't feel like he's become what I thought he could be. How well do you think Stafford will do with the Rams? I mean, I think Stafford wins the MVP with the Rams as long as he stays healthy. Appreciate it, Jonathan. What do you think about the reports that Goff lacked work ethic? So yeah, I mean, I guess my thought on that is I have some people that have told me the same thing, a source or maybe two. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I had a few people telling me that there was some concern about his work ethic, how he was a 9 to 5 guy and not a guy that stayed until the job was done. And so here's the thing. When you look at Wolford, you look at everything that happened with John Wolford, and you saw the way the team rallied around him. You saw how, Robert Woods came out and he said that he was staying after practice and all that, throwing. Weren't you immediately, your first thought was like, why isn't Goff doing that? So, that was my first thought. But then I also had all that knowledge of that. So I just think for me, when you look at everything that went down and not working, the hard work or whatever, Aqib Talib went on Pat McAfee's show and explained why Tom Brady is what Tom Brady is. The way he put it was, as he said, Lieb don't got to do that. Lieb just has to worry about Lieb. And he's right. Aqib Talib was a cornerback. Maybe he has to worry about the wide receiver himself, maybe his counterparts in the secondary, maybe the tight end since he's bigger and he was covering a tight end. But Aqib Talib at the end of the day had to worry about Aqib Talib. A quarterback doesn't get to work 9 to 5 because a quarterback has to work all around the clock, has to eat, sleep, drink football. A quarterback, that's why there's only 32 starters in the NFL. Like, if you want to be one of those 32, you have to work your tail off. If you want to be like Tom Brady, you have to go to another level. So we can say what we will about, Jared Goff and it's, I don't want to get him in trouble for something he did or didn't do, but I mean, this kind of aligns with what I've been told, and I mean, I just feel like if you are a quarterback in this league and your goal isn't to win a Super Bowl and your goal isn't to be the best, then you're in the wrong profession. And I just felt like with what Talib said, he was absolutely right. And that he said that Tom Brady works just nonstop. There's no breaks with him. And think about this. Why would you? Why would you have a break? You guys know how hard it is to live in the, not just the United States, but live on planet Earth. Nothing's given. Everything is earned. So you're telling me you can't put aside 20 years of just nonstop eat, breathe, live football so you can retire yourself happily forever and help your kids, your family, help your family out long term? That is the point with Tom Brady, is that he doesn't look at it like it's work necessarily. He loves the game. That's why he continues to play at a high level, and he continues to play. Now he's talking about potentially getting to his 50s. Look, Tom Brady wants to keep going because he loves the game, but he's also willing to put in the effort, the commitment. There's a genuine concern that, when Goff got that money, he stopped doing that. and this has been said by multiple people that I've spoken with. And then we get the Doug Gottlieb stuff. And the Doug Gottlieb stuff, look, I'm never really a huge fan of his. I don't think he's the best on the airwaves, so to speak. But it matches up. So it doesn't change how much I like Jared Goff. It's disappointing if this is 100% the case. I'll still root for him with the Lions, but it kind of goes to show you, why is Tom Brady in his 10th Super Bowl? Because he puts in more work than anybody. And also another thing, and this isn't just a Tom Brady, like celebration video or anything like that, because I'm not the biggest fan of him. But maybe I should be, because you know what? He really does work his tail off. Nothing has been given to him. Everything has been earned. And the 10 Super Bowls, you could argue a lot of that comes from how much money he took away, took off the table, didn't get paid, so the team could build around him. So, I think that's important to throw that out there. I thought Talib was I thought that was a really nice piece that he threw out there on Pat McAfee's show. Also, if you don't watch Pat McAfee's show, man, that's some great content. To me, that is where sports media is going. I mean, it's a little vulgar, I guess, so maybe not entirely, but I just feel like these guys get Aaron Rodgers on every week to talk. To me, that's what it's all about, feeling more connected to the league, hearing what these guys have to say. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at on that. Yeah, he does win. There's a reason he wins too. Let's see. I thought I had a quote here. If I can find it. It's from Bill Belichick on Matthew Stafford. Okay, I do. So, September 19th, 2018, Bill Belichick had these comments on Matthew Stafford. As good as there is in football, he's got great weapons. He does an excellent job of seeing down the field in all situations. No matter how much pressure he's under, he seems to find guys down there. Sometimes it appears that they're covered, but he can put the ball where Marvin Jones in particular, but also Kenny Golladay can go up and make plays on the ball. He's very accurate, and he's got a strong arm. He can stand in there and make those throws with or without a rush, in or out of the pocket, stationary or on the run. He's extremely dangerous, one of the very best. So that is the greatest coach of all time, giving new Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford some serious praise. Aaron Rodgers come out and said, look, this guy's been doing what you see Patrick Mahomes doing every week. He's been doing it a lot longer. One of the more underrated quarterbacks in football. I don't know, folks. I mean, I think the Rams got a good one. Troy Polamalu screwed Pat out of a touchdown. I mean, if you guys are wondering, the AJ show, for instance. Let's get a ticker up there. Man, it looks so weird without a ticker. I don't know if you guys agree, but we'll just put this up. Or we won't, because there's all sorts of stuff going on. Okay. There we go. I couldn't stand it any longer. I couldn't stand it. Yeah. If you guys haven't, by the way, be sure to check out the AJ show. I haven't done any shameless plugs, so that's going to be happening right now. So be sure to check out the AJ show. I do that with my cousin, Adam Steele. And we talk all about the NFL. So It's a lot of fun. We do it at the studio. And it's every Saturday, as you can see below, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time to 11 a.m. Pacific Time. So we'll be doing that this Saturday, talking about the Rams, because there's a lot to talk about. We'll be going back and forth on Stafford, our thoughts on going out and getting your guy, the NFL draft, the Super Bowl. So we're going to do all. What's up, Felix? How we doing? So we'll be doing that. Also, if you haven't already and you do like me, if you're still here, you probably like me. Be sure to subscribe. You can see that subscribe button. Also, when you hit that subscribe button, be sure to hit the bell icon and you'll get basically anytime I go live, you will get a notification about it. I absolutely think the Rams offense is going to click now. So are you guys having a hard time becoming a member? Is that what I'm gathering here? Let me find... Let's see here. I'm trying to... Okay, here it is. I have the link. I'll post it. It's a direct link to become a member if you're interested. Again, I'm not begging. I'm not pushing you. Anybody that wants to support, you support. If you don't want to support, you're supporting anyway by watching. So I appreciate you either way. Yeah, if you guys are having a hard time with the join button, just click on that link and you should be able to join right through there. And we're going to add more to it. I think we're definitely, the more people we get, I think we're going to have a all members we're going to have an all members type of stream. And it won't be too long. It'll be like an hour, but it'll be like ask me anything members only. Hey, thank you, David. Welcome to the membership. Appreciate you. What do you think happened to golf degrees over the last few years? What do you mean? What do you mean, Paul? What's up, Alpine Apples? How we doing? Yeah. I'd love to have Megatron. Let's talk about that for a sec, all right? Look, I know it's probably not likely at all. But let's just talk about it. Because if it were to happen, here's okay. Let's just do this real quick. I'm just gonna bring up Calvin Johnson, his stats. I hope Marvin Jones is a done deal. I'd love that. Okay, so Calvin Johnson's 6'5", 237. Assuming I'd imagine he's still that. Thanks, Eric. Welcome to the membership. Appreciate you. So, assuming Calvin Johnson is still that size, okay, 6'5", 237. Maybe he's not. Maybe it's dumb to assume that. Here's what I'll say. Calvin Johnson hasn't played since 2015. So when this season starts, it will be 6 years since the last time he played. So am I out of my mind for thinking that Calvin Johnson can come back? Absolutely. But if he does, here's my pitch for you guys. Why you should believe that a guy who would now be 35 years old, only 35, by the way, only 35, could actually do something in this league. Because Megatron retired at the age of 30. So he's 35, but he's 35 years old without getting hit those last few years, without, having that rigorous off season, that preparation. It's a good thing and a bad thing, but there's not a lot of tread on those tires because he retired in age 30. So he hasn't been hit. So he's 35, but in reality, football-wise, he's probably like 32. Appreciate you, Don C. So I'm not saying Megatron 100% will come back to the Rams, be great, all of that. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is it's interesting, and I'm saying that you could give it a look if he's interested because he's still a physical specimen. That doesn't just change. And just because he's 35 doesn't mean he's still not fast. Just because he's 35 doesn't mean he's no longer 6'5". And just because he's 35 doesn't mean that he's never played football before. So, yeah, I think that would be really interesting with Stafford running it back, and you'd have every Lions fan on planet Earth rooting for them. So, there's that. But, yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, though, that he retired at age 30, and he's only 35 years old. If he wanted to come back, yeah. Appreciate you, Andy. Stafford made a lot of money in his career. Do you see him being like TB12 and taking less money to bring in more players during free agency after contract ends? Great point. I don't know. I mean, I really don't. I think at this point in his career, I think there's a chance he is that type of guy. I think he's more focused on winning a Super Bowl, and I think he's more focused on winning. More importantly, I guess when you look at him, he's more focused on winning a playoff game, which I think he'll win. But I think that's a big thing to keep in mind. Tyler, appreciate you, buddy. That's my best friend right there, Tyler Peak. He was actually going to come on tonight, or at least I asked him, but he wasn't feeling up to it. He'll be on at some point, and he's a huge Rams fan as well. We've been watching the games together since Matt Moore went up against AJ Feely on the Rams. So, yeah, the good old days. How do you donate? So when you go to the chat, you should see below there'll be like a dollar sign or whatever. You can do a super sticker or a super chat. The super chat highlights the message, and the super sticker sends an animated image. So if you do like a super chat, you basically put however much you want in there. And then, it just says buy and send, and then you do that. Megatron's 35. Calvin Johnson was one of my absolute favorite players watching him, so I'd want nothing more than for him to win a Super Bowl, if I'm being honest. Bellefontaine Cemetery, what do you think about our new defensive coordinator? I love Raheem Morris. I love that he brings a lot to the table. He's not just a guy that can run Brandon Staley's scheme, mimic it, but he's got that Tampa 2 and the cover 3 Seattle, Legion of Boom under him because of, Dan Quinn. Plus, in 2019, he had a cup of coffee as a passing game coordinator and a wide receivers coach. So that's something that I definitely like. No, I don't think Megatron's coming out of retirement, but I'd love him to come out anyway. The way I see it is that Megatron. Okay, so Megatron is he was asked, I think in 2019 by TMZ or something. They caught him if he'd ever come back, and he said he doesn't want to play football. So that's that. I was hoping Goff would turn into an elite quarterback, but Goff just made too many mistakes when we needed him not to. Yeah, I hear you. Wait, what do you mean we lost our running backs coach? Thomas Brown left? What? No way. Hold on. Oh, I forgot. You can't look up Thomas Brown without the loyalist coming up. All right. Thomas Brown. He is currently the running back. What are you saying, homie? He's still the Rams running back coach. You're scaring me there. They really like him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sosa and I have both been on Marvin Hall as an option. Hall would be a lot cheaper than $6 million, probably around $1 to $2 million, agree in substance. Yeah, he'd be really cheap. I like him a lot. I prefer Marvin Jones because Marvin Jones is somebody that doesn't matter if he has separation or not. He's going to go up and win that battle, the 50-50 ball. He would have led our receiving group in yards last year, so, you know. There's not really anything coming in on the coaching staff, to be honest with you. Yeah, I have him at 14-3 next year. Record prediction is 14-3, Jack. What's up, Masanori? How we doing? Yeah, I prefer Marvin Jones. I mean, here's the thing. The Rams, and I actually just did a roundtable podcast with Alexis Kraft. It was a video podcast. I did it with Alexis Kraft, Brad Motter, Sosa Cremeñas, Ryan Dyrud, and I want to say there's someone else, but maybe there wasn't. No, I think that was it. I just did a live video podcast with them. That'll be coming out soon, and we talked about it. And I was actually asked, with the whole restructuring. And the thing is with the Rams is that they can go out and they could get a Marvin Jones because at the end of the day, they really, here's the thing, restructuring doesn't hurt a player. It seems unrealistic, but, drastic times call for drastic measures. And normally you wouldn't want to restructure these guys, but right now, with COVID and obviously running into the potential of not having a healthy cap, you're going to have to restructure. So I think Donald and Ramsey are guaranteed. And then you could see Matthew Stafford, and then you could see, then Woods, Kupp, whether they trade Havenstein or not, that's another thing. But I think that's definitely something to keep in mind is that they could, if they took all their top guys and restructured them, not saying this is entirely realistic, but if they did, the Rams could get up to 40 to 50 million in cap space, and Marvin Jones wouldn't even be a guy that maybe they just go straight after Kenny Golladay. I don't know. I would go after Marvin Jones, but Kenny Golladay can't stay healthy, and he'd be a lot more expensive. I think they can bring JJ back. I don't think he's gone forever. I really don't. I've said that. What do you think about Juju Smith-Schuster? He's going to command close to $20 million. He's got unbelievable career resume under his belt. He's super young. I don't see it, but he'd be a nice addition. I just don't see it. It'd be funny to see him next to Kupp since, those two went in the same draft. Yeah, no, JJ is a top 5 safety who's calling defenses. Like, I'm not letting that guy go if I can afford it. Yeah, I mean, there's no brainer to me. You restructure Aaron Donald as long as he agrees to do it, and he should. I mean, it's not going to hurt him in any way. He just gets more money up front. Here's the thing. I said for a while JJ was gone, but then the Stafford trade came, and I think it's, anything can truly happen now. Hmm. You guys see Dogecoin is making a comeback? Who's holding Dogecoin in the chat? No, I think they'll move on from Malcolm Brown. They really like Xavier Jones out of SMU, and they like Raymond Calais. Yeah, Everett and Reynolds are gone. Yeah, the restructure of Ramsey, no doubt, absolutely. Do you think Snead loses his job if the Stafford trade? I mean, he could. He definitely could. Looks like we have some people that are in Doge. The meme stocks, am I right? Although Doge is a currency, it's not actually. Yeah, I mean it was on a run, and then I was encouraged. I put it on here too. I was encouraging people to pump it, but you know it's doing a little bit better though. I think it could move up. Keep in mind if you use Robinhood or whatever, Robinhood was blocking people over the last like 5 days from buying it. So I think it's going. You're going to see a significant increase in volume because now you can buy it on Robinhood. I do not like how people think the Rams downgrade at quarterback. Oh, that's ridiculous. They absolutely did not. Oh yeah, David, I have a Roth IRA. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing with my money. Higbee is. I like Higbee a lot. I mean, the Rams clearly did. They signed him before he even had his breakout. McVay and Stafford flew home together from Mexico today. Well, that's interesting. Do you want Goff to succeed in Detroit? Absolutely. I hope Goff's great in Detroit. Do you think we keep McVay if Stafford doesn't work out? Yeah, no, I don't think he's gone. I have Ethereum as well, by the way. HFHJGLG. That's a lot of money that you invest in Ethereum. I wish I could invest that much. Well, GameStop's pointless at this point. There's no point of investing in GameStop right now. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go up, and then people are going to get bored of it and then move on. We need a bruising back, one that can receive passes out of the backfield. I think you have two guys. I think Darrell Henderson is underrated in his ability to bang down low like a power forward. When you watch him make contact, he is violent, man. It doesn't matter how short he is. He's violent. He packs a punch. I sold all my Bitcoin to get Dogecoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. I sold Ripple though, but how much cap do we have after the Goff trade? Well, right now they're negative 35 million. Stafford, getting a deal done with Stafford extension could change it, but I think the number was you could save 15 million with a restructure of Stafford. So you could save 15 million, and then you would have Ramsey and Donald would be around 30 million total. Around that. I'm not saying it would be. So if we're ballparking, then the Rams would have about 10 million in cap space. Then they could add probably around 30 million with Woods and Cup Woods and Cup restructures. And then you have other things that you could do with Havenstein and Higbee and Whitworth. So there's a lot. Hendo, yeah, I like Hendo. Well, the draft picks in this draft, they have a second, two thirds because they traded one for in the Goff trade. One fourth, which is going to be their compensatory that they're expected to get from Corey Littleton. They will not trade. They will not have their base fourth because their base fourth round pick goes to Jacksonville for the Jalen Ramsey trade. And then their fifth rounder, if you'll remember when they got Austin Corbett, they traded 2 picks from now or whatever, 2 years from now they traded a pick. This is the fifth round pick that they traded for Austin Corbett. And then they have a sixth rounder. I believe they have another seventh rounder in addition to one because of the trade they made for, I want to say, Talib. It might have been Talib. I think they're finally getting that pick from Miami for Talib. Yeah, Dogecoins are sitting around 38 right now. So we'll see if it gets to 40, I think it can run, but we'll see. I'm very excited for the Rams this season, Ted. I mean, I'd like both of them, Will Fuller and Curtis Samuel, absolutely. Curtis Samuel, I think, is more realistic because I think Fuller's going to command a lot. But, um, yeah, I mean, I like them both. Samuel's a better yards after the catch guy. I guess Fuller fits this offense more. We'll see. We'll see what they do. What number does Trey Lance in the draft is that? What does that mean, Paul? Where do I think he'll go? I think probably 4 to Atlanta, if I'm guessing right now. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it. Yeah, like I've said repeatedly, guys, you guys can ask me any question. While I have majority Rams fans in here, I don't want anyone to feel alienated. I will literally answer any question as long as it's appropriate. Um, this is a sports channel. That's why it's Jake Ellenbogen. It doesn't have Rams colors or anything. I'm more than happy to be that Rams guy, but anytime anybody comes in here and asks me a question for anything, I'm going to answer it. And we're going to have other content. We got a sponsored, I got my first sponsored video. We're doing a sponsored Super Bowl video, so pretty excited about that. No, Havenstein struggles against, big time pass rushers off the edge that are, super athletic, and hate to break it to you, that's the majority of the NFL now. So Austin Blythe could be, but I don't know. I think the Rams could bring him back, or what they could do is basically they could either bring Austin Blythe back or they could draft a guy like Creed Humphrey in the second round. I'd love to draft Creed Humphrey in the second round. You ready for the next episode of WandaVision? Who's going to be the big cameo? I am so ready for the next episode of WandaVision. I heard the cameo is going to be Thanos, but I feel like that was a joke. I don't feel like Thanos is actually going to be in it. Thanos is going to be in Eternals, which I can't wait for. But yeah, I'm so ready for WandaVision, and you're getting me pumped up as if it's a Thursday night, and now I'm sad because I know it's not. Uh, do you think signing Duck Hodges was a good idea? Well, he's a friend of the show, so I'm never gonna bash a guy that was a friend of the show. Um, but yeah, I actually do think it was a good idea. Have that competition. I think it pushes a guy like Bryce Perkins a little bit more, and ultimately they have 4 guys that have mobility. And Stafford isn't like a sprinter. Like the thing is, Bryce Perkins is really fast, like really fast, and has an opportunity to really make a team pay if they let him get out in open space. But I mean, we don't know when he's going to play. And I just think you look at you get a guy like Devlin Hodges who's played good football at Samford, and then he comes to the NFL, and his first year as an undrafted rookie free agent, he has to fill in for Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know, man. He gets a bad rap because normally, people forget that these guys just came from playing in their backyard at Samford and now are playing at Heinz Field and the starter for a historic organization. But, I don't know. That's how I feel. Nah, Ted, 49ers fans are loud. There's a really nice guy, I forget his name, Coach something. He's normally in here. He's a 49ers fan, and he, like, donates to me. That's really appreciative. You guys remember that one Lions fan that got so mad, um, when the Stafford news broke? Like, he donated, like, $50 to me, and he said, like, "Thank you for taking Stafford," or whatever. I was just like, I don't know what to say. I mean, thanks for donating to me. I don't know. I'd love Marvin Jones. Yes, WandaVision, fire. Dude, if it's Tony, I'm going to lose it. What late round wide receiver do you see us drafting? If there's a late round wide receiver drafted, probably Tutu Atwell from Louisville. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Jared Goff playing the Rams. I'm looking forward to Matthew Stafford playing the Lions. That better be prime time. It should kick off the season if you ask me, but probably won't. Ultron. You think Ultron's back? That'd be crazy. I think Jake McQuaid's gone. Like, he's a free agent, so I think he's gone. Do you think teams would want John Wolford as their starting quarterback? I think there are teams in this league that looked at John Wolford last year and they're like, all right, he's probably better than the option we have. Like, if you want my honest opinion, if the Giants asked the Rams straight up for John Wolford and like a third, if they set the Rams a third, I think the Rams would do it. And I think that John Wolford would be in a great spot. I'm going to say this right now. I think John Wolford is a lot better than Daniel Jones. Like, a lot better. Like, I would move on from Daniel Jones yesterday. He's not very good. I think he's the worst starting quarterback in the league, in my honest opinion. Maybe Tua, but that's not really fair. Jake, what record will the Lions have next year with Goff? I'd say 5-11, 6-10. They could be a lot better, but I don't know who Goff's throwing to. You know, I don't know who's going to be on that defense. I like the coaching staff. I like the direction they're going in, but they have a lot of ground to catch up on. I mean, Matt Patricia really blew up that team. Wolford for Barkley, yeah. Yeah, you know, he's similar to Doug Flutie. I think he's very similar to Tarkenton, Flutie, Russell Wilson, you know, those types of guys. Oh yeah, that. Oh boy. Yeah, I've never been a Daniel Jones fan, so I guess I'm a little biased in that regard, but I will say I was starting to like him a little bit in 2019, and I get he didn't have uh, Saquon Barkley, but in 2020, man, he took a huge step back, colossal step back. So 0-16. I like Chaz Surratt. I also really like Charles Snowden. And not to get political, but I also like Edward Snowden. But I'm not trying to get my not trying to lose my YouTube channel off that. AD versus JG. They could have beaten the Bucks if it wasn't. Oh yeah, absolutely. They should have pardoned Snowden. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done. Um, who do I see coming back from the defense? Really just John Johnson and Darius Williams at this point. But we'll see. Big Brother's watching. What do you guys think about Elon Musk? I do see the Rams going after Marvin Jones. I don't know if they'll get him, but I do see the Rams going after him. What's up, Ram fan Ashton? How we doing? Thanks for joining the stream. I love this community. Have I ever said that? Maybe I say it too much, but you guys are awesome. I love that we can literally talk about whatever, and you guys aren't just going to bounce on me. Yeah, I'm a big Elon Musk fan. I know some people don't like him, but yeah, Elon and Stafford do look alike. Elon Musk for deep threat. That'd be something. I know, right? Elon, you need to pump that Dogecoin, man, or we're through. I think Stafford will have a legitimate argument to bring Marvin Jones to LA. I think the Rams would listen too. Because look, okay? Go back to when the Rams brought over Wade Phillips, okay? Wade Phillips brought over some of his guys. Brings over Aqib Talib. Brandon Staley, he brings over he brings over two guys. He brings over Leonard Floyd, and then they go out and they get Justin Hollins. Normally players aren't that powerful, but when you have a guy like Stafford, his voice matters. Marvin Jones played with Stafford from 2016 through 2020. In those seasons, Jones had two 900-yard seasons and an 1,000-yard season. He had 36 touchdowns with Stafford, 289 receptions, 4,296 yards, an average, a long of 73 yards on a play, 60.5 catch percentage. And when you look at the guy, he played in 69 games, 9 yards per target. I mean, I don't know. I'm a big fan of him. 14.9 yards per reception. I don't know how I'd feel about a Hulk movie. Oh, nice. Rocket League. I heard they added the NFL mode. You have to tell me what that is. Yeah, I invested. I have about 6 shares in Tesla, Eric. Big fan. I like the special teams coordinator more than the one that was just previously with the Rams. I mean, he's still with the Rams, but Let's see here. Yeah, you're very welcome. I love doing this. I love talking with you guys. You guys are my family. The JE fam. Marvin Jones can block. All right, I'll have to download it on PS5, but I'm game. I mean, I wish Sony had more of a hard drive on that thing. It's like 800 gigabytes, but you only get like 600 accessible. That's brutal. We're not doing Discord tonight because I had some audio issues and I don't want to butcher the stream. I'm also getting off in about 28 minutes. I figured I'll stream for 2 hours. Yeah, well, I think, yeah. No, I definitely hope they bring back JJ. Zach, you're wondering how you donate? One, appreciate you. Two, donating at any point, all you have to do is in the chat, you'll see there's a $sign. It says show your support for Jake Ellenbogen, although it doesn't say that. If you hover over it, it will. Maybe it won't. But donating, you just hit the $sign, and then you click on super chat or super sticker, and then you put whatever you're donating in there. If you put a super chat in there, make sure you have like a comment. You don't have to, but it does go. It highlights your comment. So 167 people, I can manage the comments right now, especially with slow mode on. But when we have like over 500 people, or it's a busy stream, and I can't necessarily guarantee that I can read your comments, then doing a super chat to highlight it might be your best course of action. I try to answer everything I can, but if I realize it's just not possible, I'm not going to break my back over it and ruin the flow of the stream, if you know what I mean. Yeah, Marvin Jones can block. I'm so happy for Stafford, man. I'm so happy. I'm still not over the trade. I'm just so happy. Stafford deserves this. I've been watching him for years. I've been a huge fan of his. He does not get enough credit. I stand by it to this day. He had Calvin Johnson. It was a blessing, and it was a blessing and a curse. It was a blessing because he's one of the greatest wide receivers ever. It was a curse because now all anybody ever does when they want to, bash Matthew Stafford is they say, well, he's had all sorts of weapons all his career and hasn't won anything. Okay, he had Calvin Johnson and an awful team. That organization has really held him back. And he had Calvin Johnson until 2015, and then he retired at age 30. Let's not act like he still has Calvin Johnson. He's played 6 years. Going into this year, he will have played 6 years without Calvin Johnson. 6. It bothers me. Chantry. No, I don't know. I noticed now people want to donate, and I appreciate it. I mean, people have been donating for a while, and I really appreciate it. It is so awesome. Like I'm really really enjoying it. I want to eventually make this my full-time job. I want to be able to be a YouTuber. I want to be able to put out amazing content. So every bit helps. And I want to get that laptop that I thought I was going to get, and now I'm a little behind. We'll say that. Discord. I'll send you the Discord link. One sec. Let's see. What am I doing? Oh, that's right. Discord link. There's the Discord link. You can join. It's basically 24/7 Rams talk. If anybody is interested, we also have an NFL portion. So while it's the Downtown Rams Discord link, Discord channel, we do have a Rams section, and then we have an NFL section. So if anybody wants to join, isn't a Rams fan, go right ahead and feel free to do that. Like I said, this channel welcomes everyone. Oh, another thing. So, show of hands. Obviously, you can't. Well, I guess you could with an emoji. How many of you know that I have a podcast I do with Alexis Kraft called the Downtown Rams Podcast? Looks like we got a lot of people. Now, how many of you have never listened to the Downtown Rams podcast? I'm just curious because I want to cross promote. I'm doing some good stuff, but I'm also doing it with another person. And I don't feel like she gets enough credit, Alexis Kraft. She does a great job, and so I obviously want to, help her out and support her. But yeah, she's my co-host with Downtown Rams. I'm also on the AJ show with Adam Grego, Adam Steele. Yeah, it does seem like more people are buying into the Rams now. I felt like so we talked about Stafford having that kind of Calvin Johnson thing over his head. But, with Goff, I feel like no one ever really forgot about his less than stellar shining moment on Hard Knocks. So, that's something to keep in mind. We're going to have to get Alexis on the Stafford train. It's going to take a minute. She's been very consistent. She does not love Stafford. I appreciate y'all, though, at the Downtown Rams podcast. Now, we have a lot. We have a lot of links in the description. If anybody wants to check those out, feel free. I think I have the podcast link in there. For anybody that wants to subscribe to the podcast, I'll get you that link. Yeah, I was on